Hi, welcome to this video, which is in the category of knowledge nuggets. And the title of this video is Marvel to Manipulation. This is a brief history of how scientific thinking developed from one of marvel, from one of great wonderment, to one of great exploitation. Starting with the Greek philosophers like Pythagoras, great minds had a passionate intellect. They wanted to know and get into more deeply the nature of reality. Given the tools they had, it was only mere observation that enabled them. Pythagoras was phenomenal in his thinking. He was known internationally. In India, he was known as Pitar Guru, which means father teacher. He spent 20 years in Egypt, then started the school of brotherhood in Greece. This brotherhood aimed at 400 pure souls, as he said, who would be the seed for a totally renewed thinking in the future. Then came Heraclitus, who looked at nature and tried to study it more deeply. He looked at the world, he looked at the cosmos, and he said, the world is a living fire, measures kindling and measures going out. A beautiful conceptualization of the cyclic nature of everything that exists. Things come into being and things go out and again come into being. Then we had Zeno, very deep thinker, using his paradoxes. Then the great mind of Socrates, who enabled the youth of Greece to think deeply. His was a pure education. Whenever somebody asked him a question, he will always ask a counter question. Whether it be the army commander or a young student, he didn't make any differentiation. That's why when people asked him, can you teach us? He said, no, I can't teach you, but I can make you think. Then came Plato, who wrote down the entire work of Socrates in various books, and he conceptualized the allegory of the cave, which was the reality that we are seeing is not true. He also came up with the Platonic solids and the fundamental forms of nature, of all structures that is there. He was followed by his student Aristotle, the father of philosophy. Everything from epistemology to ontology to teleology, all philosophy came out of the thinking of Aristotle. He was not only a thinker in philosophical terms, but he was also a great scientific thinker. And his theory of motion existed to be true till Newton came in. These people empowered future thinkers like Galileo, Newton, Copernicus. They were all motivated by this type of thinking, and they came up with much higher theories which could be proved even today to be true. In the 1st century AD, you had Ptolemy, the great astronomer, who came up with the geocentric model. You had Persian astronomers. Then you had the great Copernicus. He was the first person to come out with the heliocentric model of the solar system, which even today stands true. Kepler, who first of all designed a model which was supposed to be the basic laws of motion of the cosmos. These were all wonderful thinkers who came out with theories. But then, with the advent of Industrial Revolution, the age of reason, Renaissance, you had completely a deviation from this route to one of how to use science for personal benefit. The invention of the steam engine evoked massive structures of industries, which moved the reward for a work of an individual from individuals to a corporation. Knowledge itself is wonderful. Ignorance is evil. But knowledge used to wield power is something which we have to question. And power for its own sake could be very dangerous. So today, power is being used to the benefit of a few at the exclusion of majority of the humanity. So, as we progress from the start of the industrial age, then we came into more and more advanced technologies. And what we have done is we have gone into a total history of development which is highly unsustainable. Today we have the global climate crisis and we are crying out for renewable energy source. And people talk about the planet getting into a problem. It's not the planet which is going to get into a problem. We will be wiped out of the face of this earth if we continue in this mode. Maybe some of you have seen the movie Don't Look Up. This is about a global catastrophe based on the impact of an asteroid and how the technology being very advanced, people are planning to migrate to another exoplanet. And you know at the end what happens to these people when they go there. This earth is a beautiful gift to us, and if you don't cherish it and nourish it and cooperate with it, you will be eliminated from this world. We don't want to end up like that. We have a responsibility towards the future generation. So the trajectory of scientific thinking moved from marvel to manipulation today. We have to reverse this process. This is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you for watching and listening, and have a great life.